Revenge on the Neighbor from Hell. My husband Jake and I just bought our first house together. We were so excited to finally have our own place after years of renting these tiny apartments with paper-thin walls. The house was perfect with 3 bedrooms, a nice backyard, and a quiet street. Or so we thought. Our next-door neighbor Dave seemed normal at first, even bringing us a 6-pack of beer. But within 2 weeks, we realized this guy was completely insane. First, he acted like he owned the empty lot between our houses. This lot was not his property, but Dave had 4 junked cars parked on it. One day, our contractor Mike parked his truck on the lot. Dave came storming over, red in the face, screaming. Mike said the lot was not Dave's property, but Dave claimed he had used it for years, so it was basically his. Meanwhile, his beat-up Honda with no wheels and his rusted pickup truck sat there taking up half the lot. Then there was Rex, his massive German Shepherd. Dave let him run loose all day with no leash or fence. Rex would poop all over the lot, and Dave never cleaned it up once. The whole area smelled like a dog park bathroom. The dog would charge at us every time we tried to work in our yard. I am terrified of big dogs, so I would run inside whenever I saw him coming. The worst part was the music. Dave had a massive stereo in his garage and blasted heavy metal at all hours. At 2 in the morning on a Tuesday, the music was so loud our windows were shaking. When Jake asked him to turn it down, Dave just laughed and said, "This is America." This went on for months. We could not use our backyard, sleep, or finish our fence. Then I saw an email from the city about purchasing undeveloped lots. The lot between our houses was for sale for $3,000. I called Jake and filled out the paperwork that same day. 2 weeks later, we officially owned the lot. I put up a private property sign. Dave saw it and asked what it was about. I smiled and handed him the deed, telling him he needed to move his cars. He was furious, but I told him it was my property now. When he refused to move his cars or stop letting Rex run loose, I started making phone calls. I called animal control, the police about the abandoned vehicles, and reported the noise. I called them 4 times in 1 week. On Friday, they towed his last junked car right out of my lot. Dave was in his driveway losing his mind. He stormed over to confront me right as the police officer was writing a report. Dave yelled about the dog and the music, asking why the cops were there again. The officer told him he was illegally dumping vehicles on private property. He handed Dave a bunch of tickets and drove away. Now Dave keeps Rex in his own yard and magically discovered how to turn down his music before 10 in the evening. Funny how buying a $3,000 lot solved all our neighbor problems.